I pushed a button that made me not live. And I knew if I pushed too many buttons, it would happen. What is this button, though? No. Okay. So I hope everybody finds me again. I am so sorry. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get back here. I don't know how that works here on YouTube, but I'm gonna see if you guys get back. Hi, Renee. Good. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Carmen. I pushed the wrong button. Hi, Robin. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Heidi. Good. Well, thank you so much for coming back. Uh, that teaches me a lesson on not touching buttons. Hi, Jody. Hi, Jeannie. Uh, oh, good. Oh, hi, Nancy. Good, good. Okay, so we're back and everything is good to go. All right. Good. And so, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm a psychic and a medium. I'm going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And while you guys are showing up, if you could share this out into the world, that'd be great. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to. And thank you so much for coming back. I got something happened there. I don't even know. I pushed the wrong button. Yes. Good. Okay, and while you're showing up and everybody's kind of getting back here, I will also share. Hi, Heather. Uh Hi, Jody. Thank you for coming back, Lori. And thank you again for moderating. Hi, Sonia. Carmen. Good. And so I will also share. I had a couple questions from a couple of different students today around journaling. And so I have, it hit the heart button if you journal. I think that we think about journaling like what a teenager does when they have like a little locked journal that they put in their desk or they hide under their bed that has all their secret information. You can also use journaling for your intuition, for connection to your intuition. And so, a great way to start your day or end your day or both is to be able to connect into your guidance in some sort of way. And sometimes it's hard to hear or connect to intuition. And so, having a moment where you decide and you ask for symbols and intuitive insights and in different connective moments with your guidance throughout the day, signs that your guidance can show you to let you know that they're there with you and connected to your life. And then you can write those things down. And I think that journals are great because if you can keep a automatic writing or intuitive journal, you can look back months from then, and be able to look at what you wrote, and you can see how things have transpired in your life, and you start to build a relationship with your intuition. I think it's a safe way for your brain to be okay with developing your intuition. And so I'd look into journaling some more. I'd look into the words automatic writing. I think that when it comes to all of that, it feels very, very much like there is so much. There's so much opportunity for us to continue to grow and develop our intuition, and it's been the biggest gift in my life. And I think that people who work on that gift show up as always feeling like that they are in the right place at the right time and they know what to do and they feel connected to themselves. And I think that's really helpful in our lives. And so journaling is a easy way to connect to ourselves and talk to ourselves about our day, but also connecting to our intuition. And so that's my story for the day. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. I'm going to pick a card for every 25th person, starting in the middle, and then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you again so much for being here and sharing and subscribing. I appreciate you. Okay, let me see. Let me see here. Good. I love our group. In on Facebook we have our group over there as well, and you guys come hang out with me there and here often. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay. Okay, right in the middle is Allie. Hi, Allie. Allie says, I feel like I'm wasting time with my friends I'm with, and I'm unsure if I should just leave or stay. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Allie says, I feel like I'm wasting time with my friends I'm with, and I'm unsure if I should leave or stay. Hit the heart button if you feel that way. If you feel like you have buddies and people in your life and that it just feels like I don't even know why they're there anymore. Like it just doesn't feel like it has any value. Sometimes we grow out of people. We grow out of people. We grow beyond people. I think that we have a hard time saying goodbye to things so we can let things linger when they don't belong in our lives. Not that they don't belong there. It's just that you're growing past them. So let me pull a card for you, Allie. Thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, higher power. So I think that when I'm looking at your friends, I think that you're not wasting your time with your friendships. I think that over these next few months, you have a handful of people that you say goodbye to, but there's one person that's in your life now, that's in your friend group, that's in your life for the rest of your life. That definitely feels like they end up feeling like a sister in your life, to be honest. And so I think that it feels like you kind of want to wash your hands of everybody and say goodbye to all the people and run away from it all. But I think that most of the people, they do become acquaintances or leave your life. But I think that when it comes to this one particular friend, they show up as staying in your life for the rest of your life. So I think most of the handful, yes, but there is one that feels like they are really important to you and have a big play in your life for the rest of your life. And so I think I would naturally let the chips fall, when it comes to the relationships. But there's one main relationship that shows up as your sister or a sister figure. She's not literally your sister, but that relationship will grow while all the other ones kind of slink back. Yes. Okay, good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for being here. And happy Wednesday. I'm hoping your Wednesday's going well. Let's see. Okay, 25 is Aisha. Hi, Aisha. Aisha, you're the 25th person. She says, Zaid has feelings for me after... What's it say? Okay, Zaid has feelings for me. Oh, you want to know your guy's feelings for you after you said no to his proposal yesterday. Oh, you said no to your dude's proposal yesterday and you want to know his feelings? Okay, good question. Hit the heart button if you've ever said no to somebody. If you're ever like, no, thank you. I don't want to be married to you. And they... It's a tough one. And so, Aisha, okay, perfect. Thank you so much for asking your question. And thank you to Beverly for the gift and Nancy for the gift. I appreciate you. Oh, okay, let's see here. All right. Okay. So Yin. So, when I'm looking at him, he shows up as feeling like he is naive to it. He's when I'm looking at him, even though there's some butthurtness to it, like there's some feeling of like, obviously it doesn't make him happy. He isn't excited about it. He does show up as he's under the impression that you two are just going to stay together and be okay. I think that you made the right decision. I think that he has the idea that eventually you are going to want to be with him long term, and that you're going to want to do all those things with him. He is under the impression that you're scared, or I think that he has a lot of misunderstandings about why you said no, and so it feels like you maybe need to explain that maybe this isn't going to go somewhere or isn't going to go to the next thing, because he's under the impression that it is. He's under the impression that this is going to go to to the next thing, and it's not going to. I see you said yes, that's right. And so I would have more conversations, because I think that when I'm looking at it, it shows up as a relationship that doesn't work for you, and you made the right decision for yourself and for him. I think oftentimes oftentimes it feels like when we're, saying something that's truthful, but that's going to hurt the other person, we try to avoid doing that because we feel like we're going to hurt them. And oftentimes we are hurting them, but we're also helping them, because now he's not going to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want to be in a relationship with him. And the relationship does show up as coming coming to an end. You are just in charge of being the bad guy in this scenario. He does care about you. He wants to spend the rest of his life with you, all the stuff. But you show up as feeling happier moving on. And so when I'm looking at you, you show up as feeling very excited about moving on. And even if you are feeling not good about it now because you feel like you're the jerk, both of you are happier with you making this decision for both of you. All right, good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, good. Okay, I think thank you. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. And if you want to get a private reading with me, you will go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. I'd love to have a reading with you. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Ashley Hills. Hi, Ashley Hills. Ashley Hills, you're the 25th person. It just says Uncle Joe. It doesn't have any question. It just says Uncle Joe. And so, Uncle Joe. And so, let me see here. I have an Uncle Joe. Yeah, I have an Uncle Joe as well. I have a grandfather Joe. I have a lot of Joes. I have a brother Joe. It's like a whole thing. So, when I'm connecting to you, you have a pretty strong like congregation of people who've passed away. A lot of family members. And everybody shows up too, so it feels like that. That usually means that you have some intuition yourself. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like all the people. But it feels like there's great grandmothers and grandfathers, great grandmothers and grandfathers. Like there's a lot of people who have passed away. I think that the person that you're talking about, the Joe person, does show up as feeling very nurtured and feeling like everybody showed up for him. It feels like everybody shows up for the next person who passes away, so that the person doesn't feel alone. And so Joe shows up as definitely feeling nurtured by the family. He didn't always have the easiest go of it, and he feels like like his life when it comes to his health, mental health, different things like that. There was a lot of big ups and big downs. And so I think for him, he feels really peaceful. I think he's under the impression that there's a lot of things that are, that aren't like taken care of or in its right spot when it comes to his stuff. But he feels like that, he feels like he just wants to make sure that he is taking care of the people in his life. He said for a while he couldn't take care of anybody. He could only like survive things in his life, and so I think that he does. He shows up as surrounded by family, and you're very loved and surrounded by your family. I think that there's often times where you feel like you're not being seen and heard in relationships. You're not feeling connection when it comes to whom you care about and love in your life, and they substitute that. They show up as trying to make sure that they're being the substitute to that. And so I think that you have a really tight knit. I don't know if they were tight knit when they were alive. I think that there was some, there there was some the drama around family stuff. But now that they've passed away, it feels very much like everybody rallies together, especially for the people who are still alive in the family. And so, for sure, shows up as feeling. He wants you to know that he is. He's very peaceful and happy, and he feels like his life, even though it was harder, that he feels like that he wouldn't have done it any other way, and that he feels very cared for now. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing psychic readings. So if you haven't already subscribed, please feel free so that you get notifications when I go live. I'd love that. I'd love to see you here. Thank you for being here. Okay, 25. 25 is Carmen Powers. Hi, Carmen Powers. You're the 25th person. She says, well, my niece pulled out of the hole she's in. Okay, all right. And so let's send lots of love to Carmen Powers' niece. She says, will her niece pull out of the hole that she's in? Okay, I understand what you're saying. All right, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. All right, message in a bottle. She does. It just takes her a while to get there. It definitely is a situation where she feels like, there's a deeper hole, and she is trying to figure her way around it. I think that she has climbed out of, that feeling and that situation before, and then she's climbed back in it over and over again. And so the probability that she's going to continue to do that is probably pretty high. And so I would just be supporting her because that's kind of part of her journey, it seems, until she decides to pull out of that. And so, but it does feel like that she starts to feel relief this year and has like the roller coaster of doing well and then not doing well and then doing well. And this is kind of the ride for her. And so I would just be continuing to support her. But she does. She climbs out of the current hole that you're talking about, and then maybe there's a perpetual draw toward toward that direction again, and you can just continue to be a support system for her. Doesn't feel like it's things that are necessarily all the way fixable, or but it does feel like that they're less dramatic holes, if that helps at all. Yes. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. Please feel free to ask anything you'd like. And thank you so much for being here. And hello. Okay. Linda G, they do, with your question, they do show up as improving. It takes a few more months to get there, but you do show up as having improvement around it. And then it starts to feel like it's less of a hardship. Yes. Okay, 25 is Katie DeBow. Hi, Katie DeBow. Katie DeBow says, I was wondering what the love life department will look like for 2025. Okay. Hit the heart button if you have the same question. You're wondering what the love department is going to look like for 2025. Sometimes that love department can be very stagnant. And sometimes we're in a relationship that we don't feel the love department inside of as well. And so Katie DeBow, I was wondering what the love life department will look like in 2025. Okay, great question. Let me see what comes up for you. Okay, so round and round. So the suggestion around this card is that you bring back in somebody. And I think that there's already somebody that has had feelings for you in the past, and you've had some sort of experience with, that is either in your life already or just like 10 seconds from being in your life. I would be, I think it's tough when that sort of like drawing a person in over and over again part is there, because sometimes sometimes we're just kind of bringing in the same stuff over and over again. With this person, you do show up as having a familiarity with them. You do show up as having had something with them in the past. It does feel like that normally going back to a scenario is not always the best case scenario. In this scenario, you do show up as feeling as if you are happy to do so, and the other person shows up as changed a lot and puts a lot of effort into it. So it feels worth it to dip your toe in the water of it. They have to stay consistent and be great consistently, which they have not been able to be in the past. But you still have feelings in this direction, and I think the feelings have been shut off, but they get turned back on here in about 10 seconds. And then I think that there's also another person that you have and you bring closer and bring close to your life, and then you're making a decision between two people. I'd be open to choosing the person from the past, as long as they can stay very consistent and kind of not being wishy-washy, not being like, I'm here, I'm not, I'm here, I'm not, because it's annoying, and you deserve so much more than that. And you've already been through all of that. Like, that's something that we're not going to continue to do. I think that this year you have choices when it comes to the relationship part, and I think you choose really well. Here inside the second half of the year, you're in a relationship that you chose, that you said, I want this one. And so I think that there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of attention, and then you get to be the chooser, and you choose correctly. And so, good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to the next person. Of course, Katie, no problem. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for being here. And in the description below, I have a link to my website if you wanted to get a private reading. I see a couple people's comments that they want to get a private reading. So you would go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. I'd love to have a reading with you. And thank you to the people who have sent me gifts. I appreciate you. I can't. Oh, there's Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, 25 is Patricia Daly. Hi, Patricia Daly. Patricia Daly says, when will I or what can I do to finally find some stability? When will I or what can I do to finally find some stability? Hit the heart button if you have trouble finding stability. Financial stability, human being stability, just personal stability in your life. So when will I or what can I do to finally find some stability? Okay, let me pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. Treasure Island. So, great card for your question. A lot of your stability questions are around two things. Stability when it comes to people in your life and stability when it comes to your finances. And so definitely this is a win financially this year where you feel like that you can have the things or get the things or change the things in your life that you weren't able to this last year. I think that the instability has made you feel depressed and have anxiety around it. And I think that isn't, that isn't comfortable long term or short term or any term. But when I'm looking at you, you don't show up as feeling that way almost at all this year. I think that the ways that you shift in stability financially is you show up as kind of having two different scenarios that you're doing for a living. And so, that feels like it's too many things, but it shifts into just one thing. And you do show up as feeling like you have financial security long term. And then you do also show up as, moving into a space where you feel like that you have better, not better, but yeah, better. Better people in your life that feel like that they can take the time to see who you are and care about you and put energy into your life in a different way. So there's a lot of stability. I think the first of the two stabilities is definitely the financial part. And then you feeling like that you can shift things like what you have, where you live, what you're up to. And I think that brings you just so much more peace. I think a lot of your stress is around not knowing, if you have all the things that you need in your life, and you just never feel that way again. I think we've come across that feeling, and now we're kind of feeling scared about our stability, like you're saying, and you don't show up as having instability long term at all. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hi, Lacey. Okay. Mallory White, yes. Going in a new direction, will everything will be okay? Yes, it will. You're making the right decision. I think it's been a very up and down all over the place a couple of years, especially in like what am I doing in my career, what am I doing where it comes to where I'm living, and it becomes really peaceful. Yes. Good. Okay. Okay, 25 is Heather Holloway. Hi, Heather Holloway. Heather Holloway says, hello. She says, my husband Christopher is here with me and has been struggling mentally, really hoping to connect to his grandma. He's been thinking about her a lot, missing her hugs. Thank you. Okay. And so my husband Christopher has been struggling mentally, really hoping to connect with his grandma. Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you, Heather, for asking your question. And so when I'm connecting to him, definitely there's a woman, an older woman that comes forward that expresses that she's a mom figure for him. And so much more of a mom than a grandma, or she thinks that she's your mom, Christopher. And she's holding a baby. She says, this is your baby. And she says, I'm taking care of your baby. And she is just very much a big part of your life. This battle that you're going through now, when it comes to the mental battle, the depression part for you, Christopher, this is not something that feels like it's just because of one thing. It feels like when I'm looking at your life, there's this feeling of, I should have been at a certain place by now. I should have gotten to a certain place by now. There's disappointment. There's a feeling of feeling disappointed about something. There is wonderful things in your life. You have a wonderful life. You have, really, like when I'm looking at you, you have stability long term. You show up as a healthy human being. It's just, we get really disappointed in ourselves on the, not doing our passion in our life, feeling like we didn't get to the place where we wanted to get. You've had these losses that feel very, very significant. And so the depression part shows up as continuing to linger, for the next several months, but in a less and less type of way. I think that with grieving, sometimes our loved ones come in really close into our life and show up really, really close to us and connected to us in this very full way, up close. And when that happens, we start to kind of grieve again. I think, our loved ones are oftentimes trying to give us a little space so that we don't have like internal, all the time grief. We're working through it. And I think that for her intentions are to come close to your life and love you and feel connected to you, and for you to feel loved and connected with. But she's noticing that there is also, an element of you feeling overwhelmed in your life, and so she's not going to pull away from you. She says her and this again, this this child that she's holding are the two things in your life that stays right there by your side. Your whole life is very, very big when it comes to who you are, and the things that you feel like they should have happened in a new way, or they should have happened in a different way by now. That should have part. It does feel like that here into 2026, you're really like accomplishing the things a lot more. I think that this year we're just trying to pick up the pieces of ourselves, and you do a really good job. And I think that you show up as feeling happier and happier, but it takes a while to get there for you. I think you've been in this slump before, but she's going to really help you get out of it and help you not be able to like walk back into it again. Yes. Good. You're very loved. And thank you so much for asking your question. Good. Okay. All right. Let me get to the next person. I'm going to get to two more people in the comments, and then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you again for hanging out with me. Good. Of course, Heather. Unique, yes. You know the answer to that. Unique. Like 3 weeks ago, unique. Right? Okay. Uh, of course, Mallory. Okay. 25. 25 is Lacey. Lacey. And so, Lacey, you're the 25th person. Lacey says, card, please, job. Okay, good. Let me pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Card, please, job. Good. Okay, let's see here, Lacey. Okay. All right, here and now. So, Lacey, you know, inside of the world that you're in, you're kind of the person in charge of the money that you bring in. You have an influence as if, you know, around having your own thing, your own world, your own business, something where, like, you know, in the future you're feeling like that the money you're making you're in charge of, and you're in charge of what how you feel when it comes to your financial future. I think that when it comes to the job part, you do show up as feeling like that with the job that you just had or you have now, but it feels like we're about to shift out of that job. So just had that job gets you the job that you want when it comes to your future and what you're actually wanting. And the next job that you have definitely feels like it causes you financial security, makes you feel like that you are taken care of. You show up as feeling like that you don't have to feel like you're in any struggle. There's your guidance keeps saying there's deals that close, whatever that means, and that you feel like that you're not in a struggle place anymore. I think it's really important for you to not have extreme stress. And whatever you're doing now or what you just walked out of now feels like there's extreme stress. There's stress feelings around it. And so I think that the things that we're moving forward feels like you're in charge of the money that you make, and that it just shows up as exponentially easier, and we're in a different place where we do not feel like that there is struggle. So the struggle part of the show when it comes to the financial and the job part shows up as coming to an end for sure. And so I think that, and you feel like that what you're up to gives you longevity, you know, longevity when it comes to money, and that money just continues to grow. And so it feels really positive. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to one more person in the comments, and then I am going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And Lacey in the next 6 weeks. And so yes, it feels soon. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Hello. Okay, 25 is Hosanna Jensen. Hi, Hosanna Jensen. Hosanna Jensen says, "Hi there. Am I going in the right direction with my art?" Great question. All right, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Am I going in the right direction with my art? Okay. So let's see here. Okay. Co-create. Great card for your question. So are you going in the right direction? You are. You're going in the right direction when it comes to the making it. So there's one thing that you're doing correctly and the other you're struggling around. So the when it comes to am I going in the right direction with my art? The making the art, you're excellent at. The making the art, the creating it, the being able to make something that feels really extraordinary. People would love it. You show up as feeling really proud of it. That direction shows up as going great. The exposing it to the world or people knowing about your art is the part where we struggle. And so I think that that's the part to work on here more than anything else. I think that you do show up as feeling as if you are able to do a lot more around that part and really feel like that you could get yourself out in the world more so that people can know your art and see what you have and have to do. And it does feel like that there's opportunity for you to make a lot more this year and into this next year. And so that's what I would be concentrating on. Obviously making the art is a concentration, but you already show up so good at that part. The part where there's some struggle is like, hey, look at my art. That part is the is the part where we struggle. And so I think we got to get better at the hey, look at my art part. Yes. Otherwise, it's just you looking at your art, which is wonderful. Nothing wrong with that. But it would be nice if other people were exposed to it. Okay, good. God. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. And thank you, everybody, for asking your questions. And I'm here every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing psychic readings and mediumship. And if you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so and hit the notification bell or whatever it is so that you get notified when I go live. And I'm going to start to put a lot more stuff on my YouTube channel here. When I'm putting it together. I'm putting it together. and so I will start to put more stuff out as well on the channel. And if you haven't already had a chance to jump over to travelingintuitive.com, I'd love to have a reading with you privately. That's where you would get a reading with me, is travelingintuitive.com. So please feel free to jump over there and get a 30-minute or 1-hour reading with me. I have openings here in these next couple of weeks. Thank you, Nancy, for the gifts. I appreciate you. I'm starting to see how that all works, so I'm excited. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to pull a card for everybody here, the 29 people who are here, and anybody who's here in the future. This card is for you. Okay, let's see here. Okay. All right. And so, deep knowing. So, this week, pay attention to one thing. And so the one thing is no response is a response. And so if you have somebody in your life who is not responding to you, and so you're reaching out to them, they're not responding back, or they're responding smaller than they should. If you have, situations in your life, family, relationships, new relationships, people in your life that are just in avoidance or, not showing up for you, they are telling you what they want to give you by showing you instead of telling you. A lot of people, we feel very uncomfortable telling each other the truth. And so we just kind of ghost each other or pull back or pull away. We don't just say, hey, you know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. We don't do it. We don't, we don't do it. And when I say we don't, I do, but and if you can break the seal and just do it and just tell the truth around, what your needs are, it's a lot easier than you think. But I think that innately we're bred to believe that we shouldn't be honest with one another, and so no response is a response. And so if a person is being weird with you, or not communicating in the way that you want them to, let's reach out and let's figure out why, and maybe have more of an honest communication. But a lot of times when people aren't reaching into our lives, it's because they don't want to. Right? Sometimes that's not true. Sometimes a person is genuinely busy. It takes, I don't know, 3 seconds to send a text message. They're not that busy, right? It takes, 2 minutes to figure it the heck out. I almost cussed. I can't cuss on YouTube. So it takes just a little bit of time. And so, and the same thing with you. If there's people in your life that you aren't, giving your time to, and they're just sitting around waiting for you to, maybe you want to let them know, hey, I don't know, what's the soft way of doing that? So you don't want to talk to somebody anymore. So I don't want to talk to somebody anymore. I don't. How about let's role play. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Hey, Steve, I don't want to talk to you anymore. So, so I think there's probably a nicer way to. Here's why. Here's why I don't. And then if we do tell somebody that we don't want to talk to them anymore, we say something like, "It's not you, it's me. I'm just going through something," or instead of just like being honest with each other, because we're under the impression that we just can't handle being truthful, like somebody else can't handle your truth. And so I test it out. I test the waters. Oftentimes it's easy to test with family. And so if you have family who's being wishy-washy, it's kind of easier because they're your family, so you can try it out on them. It could be like, Aunt Betty, I just don't want to talk. I just don't want to sit on the phone for 3 hours and hear about your knee replacement. I just don't. I love you. And I love your knees. I'm so glad you got them replaced. I don't know. I'm just making it up. I don't have an Aunt Betty. So I don't know. And so, but then you feel like a jerk, right? And so you have to weigh that all out for yourself. But you're not a jerk. And you certainly don't want anybody sitting there and spending time with you when they really don't want to. And so working on that this week. That's your homework. And I'm so grateful that you hang out with me. And I can't wait to see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more psychic readings and mediumship. And you are everything you are looking for. And I will see you soon. Okay. All right. Bye.